Hello and welcome to some good old-fashioned Daria runes. So this is your pretty traditional Daria rune minus Earth Snap. It's really the only card that I've got in this deck that's a little different as far as most Daria decks go. So we're playing very straight up version. You could of course really mess around with the numbers however you like. I found these numbers for me were very comfortable and did a fairly decent job. So we are going to immediately get into the video and check it out. So kicking us right off here, we are going up against Shadow. Shadow is one of the definitely more common matchups you'll have, especially when playing the Unlimited. This is a really good hand. Blade Mage and Zealot are both really good, and Magic Missile, being both a draw and a spell boost, is going to do an amazing job, especially against early Shadow followers. And this is actually a lot better. I mean, we've now got 4 spell boostable cards and 1 to start us off. Deadly Dreamer is a little tricky since we can't use Magic Missile to deal with it. But Glow is perfect. It's actually going to make up for this really well. And a second Glow off that as well, so if they try and go for the Dreamer again, we could easily deal with it. Fortunately, they did go for a Rabbit Necromancer. It's a little bit of a disappointment, at least with Magic Missile. If they go for, say, a Dreamer or something again, we can just go Missile into Glow and really deal with this easily. Even if we do have to take that 3 damage. So, pretty predictable, really. At least we are going to deal with this very easily. And we got the Daria as well. So we're looking at a pretty optimal line of play. It would have been nice if Daria replaced our Zealot initially, but outside of that, we're looking at a very strong spell boosted hand. We do have to deal with this though. Eternal Bride, Ceres, not the card you want to go up against. It's a nightmare to deal with because most followers have a lot of trouble getting past its 3 damage clash. I should be able to do this fairly well. It's just not going to be a fun time, that's for sure. Especially since I want to go for Magic Owl. I was just going to go for Witch's Snap, and I still think that might have been the right choice, but Owl at least guarantees the removal here. It does cost me a couple of cards though. But I can set up a board before they can go for a big, wide Demon Lord play. Which is really what I needed. And since they basically just played the Eternal Val turn, this is looking really good for us. Of course, it does mean everything in their hand basically was lower by 2, which is not fun, but everything else should be pretty reasonable. So now I want to be able to play as much as I can from this hand. I also don't want to draw too much, since I want my Daria to do most of that. Would have been nice if I could have got that Ogler out too, but beggars can't be choosers all the time, so this is what we make with it. And that did end up being the concede. They didn't even know what we got from that, but it must have been too much for them to handle. So, looks good. And the next game is Forest. So last match was really awkward. Them conceding there was really weird, I felt, but I can understand why. They weren't going to have a fun time dealing with that board. It wasn't going to be really easy to do much to it, so it's no shock that they ended up just conceding the game and moving on to the next one. It really does show that early Darias make the difference. Being able to get those out really swings the game in your favour very quickly. So, first off, an Earthchild May. Luckily we got the Angelic Snipe, even if it is only going to spell boost the Fate's Hand. Stopping Forest's early pressure is always a good thing to do. Unfortunately, I don't really have a good turn 2 play outside of just a Missile, which I'd much rather use on a Fairy or something, but I really can't be fussy when I'm trying to spell boost. I have to play on curve as much as I can to take advantage of everything. Now this 1-3 is actually pretty okay to leave out. It's not really a huge threat. We've got some decent options coming up in the next turn, so I'm quite happy just to take that 1 damage there. Maybe even a couple of damage if they go for something like Elf Song here. Which of course they did because they're a pain, but that's a whole separate issue. So we are going to be able to take this whole hand out here. I decided to play the Fate's Hand because I want to get the Ogler out as well. Otherwise, I probably would have just left the Fate's Hand alone until next turn. But considering this looks like it's going for a more aggro forest buff vibe, I don't want to waste my time dealing with lots of damage to the face. Another Elf Song. They've definitely got a very nice hand. I feel like this is going to be one of those matches where they have a massive advantage on me and I'm going to have a lot of trouble recovering. The only real advantage here is Glow is just going to instantly return this fairy, which makes them lose a huge advantage. And we can pretty easily pick up these couple of followers here, which is nice. You have to leave up that 2-2 since I didn't have another way to deal with it, but overall that worked fine. There's a Roach play, and Airbound Barrage, and an Elf Child May. Like I said, they have an amazing hand, and that Roach is really going to be difficult to deal with. My only hope now is using whatever I can here to get as much advantage as possible. At least my spell boosting is looking good. But considering our situation, all I can do is use this ward to defend me from both roaches and fairies until, of course, next turn when I can make a bigger swing with chimeras and blades and Darias and try and just do the best I can with that. So there goes the Earthbound Barrage. That doesn't surprise me at all. They ended up playing the Immortal Jewel, which was a weird one in my opinion. I suppose because they know they're going to recover the play points with its Evo effect, I think. Yeah, that's why they went for that. Plus, their Roach play now should be pretty intense. They were one off. Leave me with just 1 health to try and recover this board. So I don't have much hope of winning this match. But I included it because it was fairly interesting. And it was such a close game. We are going to be able to wipe the board clean and start afresh with a Daria hand. So we are looking at a very, very nice board swing here. It's literally just down to, do they have a Roach? Do they have any other storm damage? Do they have anything that could threaten us next turn? And if the answer is no, we might be okay. Altered Fate, so they're definitely trying their hardest, and they didn't get it, so we now actually have lethal. This was one that surprised me a little bit. I thought, okay, we'll see how much I've got, count it all up. We were 1 short. Once we use Glow, though, we can return for the Blade Mage, go for that, and literally win the game from it. It was the most epic comeback I think I've ever had, going from literally 20-0 in that turn like that. So definitely why I wanted to include this. So really, that last game was some of the most fun I'd had making a comeback. It was so close, it only would have taken 1 card anyway for me to win, and 1 card for them to win. That's all it was really going to take to really close the game out. And I was just surprised that we managed to pull off that return Blade Mage play, which worked out wonderfully. I had no other follower except that owl that could be returned, and it really did win us the game. So if you guys did enjoy this video, hit the like button and subscribe. You'll find the deck list in the description below. Until next time, guys, see ya.